This episode contains sensitive topics. Discretion is advised.
Hello, hi, and welcome back to an all-new episode of the Lusty Lounge podcast, where we talk about things that aren't safe for work. It's been a while. I'm sorry. Shit happened. But the shit has passed. The co-hosts are here. I am here. Hello. I am your favorite co-host because I am the darkest co-host. My other co-hosts are Minka
Hello.
and Puce.
How's it going, everybody?
And this week we're gonna talk about role playing, but on the internet, because I had an experience and I thought to monetize that experience like any good content creator.
That is always an option.
So I was supposed to make a list of like topics and things I wanted to talk about yesterday at work. But for whatever reason, government employees were like, we're not going to work Sunday and we're going to push all the work to everyone on Monday. And I'm like, but Monday's the holiday. It's supposed to be easy. So I fucking hate my existence right now.
So we're all gonna fly off the handle and just go by the seat of our pants.
I'm surprised you did have to work on Monday.
No, I work for the government. We work every holiday. Your mail still has to be fucking Columbus Day / Indigenous People Day.
I know, but it's not delivered.
Yeah, but we still have to, but the mail still has to be processed so it can be pushed out Tuesday.
Bah. It can wait a day.
No, it can't. That's not how that works. I wish that's how it works sometimes.
Not gonna lie, Columbus Day, Indigenous Day, it is not important. I don't even see sales for that anymore. That's how little of a holiday it is.
The second I saw we no longer have a Columbus Day sales, I'm just like, all right, it's not a real holiday. Got it.
I think a lot of that is because, there is the reality that Columbus was not a good person, and that's, the whole push for Indigenous Peoples Day. And so I think a lot of companies were like, ooh, let's maybe not do that.
I don't know. I feel like it died out before I even realized how bad Columbus was.
So I'm going to disagree. I think, well, I'm agree but disagree. Yes, they were like, okay, this is a bad look. But it's an even worse look to be like, yes, Indigenous People Day sale. And they're like, ooh, we can't do that. So, all right, no more sales.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Is it was like the first part was like, okay, we're going to look bad if we still do Columbus Day. But yeah, then if we do Indigenous People Day sales, then that is 100% a bunch of white people at the top of companies just taking advantage of a day about Indigenous people to make more money.
Man, you want to know what's crazy? Prime Day had to be delayed until the day we're recording this to happen because it was supposed to happen yesterday and the day before.
I swear Prime Day has happened like 10 times this year.
No, it's only happened once. There's two celebrations of Prime Day.
I was gonna say, which there's you're halfway to Prime Day deal, and then there's Prime Day deal.
Yeah, correct.
Bezos.
Hey, he's got to make that money because his wife took half of it. Also, it's been 4 minutes. We haven't done anything relatable to the topic, so I guess I will steer us in the direction.
You brought up Columbus Day and Indigenous Day. So.
Because I am explaining why this episode is going to be haphazard. Yeah, and then we got off topic.
But both of your co-hosts have ADHD, so that was.
I take your pills.
I did.
No comment. Damn, you got me. So, this all spawned not prematurely, subconsciously, when the Facebook page for the group, for the Discord, for the podcast was first happening.
Long ago, on a social media that is for old people.
Literally 8 to 9 years ago.
Damn.
The lady that brought on me and Puce was also like, hey, I'm in the role playing. And I'm like, bitch, you don't live in the state I live in. And what does that have to do with anything? And then she was like, no. You type it like you're the character. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. I'm just gonna pretend like you didn't say that and just like not undermine you, but just go, that ain't it, Chief. And then like 2 years later, someone messaged the page as an anime character and they started explaining stuff and I'm like, sure, I've got time to kill, why not? And that's been living in the back of my brain for like the last 9 years. So that's why we have this episode today.
This is Puce's therapy
I was sitting
session.
there and being
or
like,
not Puce,
oh,
sorry,
I don't know
Maltz.
what you're talking about. But in reality, I was like, oh, I've been doing this for like 5 or 6 years.
And you were too embarrassed to admit it, weren't you?
Back then.
Well, yeah, I'm saying back because now you don't give a fuck because you're old.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be at that point in 2 years. I'm gonna be that I don't give a fuck about nothing point. I'm so excited.
Sorry, Mingo, what were you saying?
I was just saying, like, it sounds like this is going to be a therapy episode for Alt.
Maybe we'll see.
Let it all out.
I have a very big vocabulary. I know a bunch of words. Can't fucking spell 80% of them, and that's a problem because you have to know how to spell and type to roleplay.
For some people, yes.
That's what
If you have bad
for.
spelling and your grammar is like worse than mine, we have a problem because that's not good.
Well,
you can't have worse grammar than me.
So here's the thing. Like, I used to be one of those people who had like a passion for the English language, not just the English language, but language. And so I was very like uptight and, like a grammar Nazi per se. And so I would always correct people's spelling and grammar and stuff. But what I found out is that is actually classist and sometimes racist to do that, because it's based on the fact that I was able to get an education, and not everybody is. And so, like, it's one of those things where I've stopped doing it because I've realized that it's not actually like helping anybody and it's not a great thing. So from that, I've learned that like your spelling and your grammar obviously has nothing to do with your intelligence, because like you can be really smart and not know how to spell. I mean, Einstein was, like one of those people that was so neurodivergent that he was brilliant, but the common sense stuff, like, he just didn't get. And so it like people who judge people based on how they spell, which I used to be one again, it's not a good way to look at things. And so, yes, there are some people that are like, no, if you're going to role play with me, then it has to be perfect spelling. It has to be really good grammar. You have to write at least like 5 lines every time. And like they have different specifications. And that's fine if they want to have those. But I think that limiting to yourself to that can keep you from having really great experiences. I also understand that, like, depending on how your brain works, it may kick in something that makes you think about the grammar instead of being in the moment. So I understand why some people might do that, but like I don't think that for everybody that is something that is like a has to be there type thing.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Full disclosure. While doing research for this episode, I joined 2 websites. One website I immediately left. The other one I left after I think 3 weeks, and I'm like, okay, I have a good handle on what this is. And then I came back the night before we recorded and went, I don't know what the fuck any of this is supposed to be. I'm so lost and confused. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that. So if you're one of those people who did role play when you were younger, we're here for you. It's okay. Yeah, you were fucking cringy, but it's all right. It's fine. We were all cringy. Don't worry about it. You're in a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
I've had 2 drinks today, so
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
not enough. I need like 4 more.
So that's why you don't sound angry as all hell.
Fuck you.
It's half true.
So someone else start because I don't want to embarrass myself to start.
Minka, should
Well,
we flip a coin or you want to go first?
I will go ahead and go. Because I've done the ERP for quite a long time, but honestly, the time that I delved the most into it was actually also when I joined like the Lusty Lounge community. Funny enough.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I don't remember exactly how I found it. I think it was just like Facebook doing like a pages you might like thing and it popped up and then I found the Discord link through the page and ended
I'm
up
so
jumping
sorry.
over.
I'm
Well,
so sorry.
like the
She's
thing
here.
is,
I think she's okay with it.
yeah, I've been here
I'm
for 3 years
so
now.
sorry.
Um, but it was right after I actually got my bottom surgery, and so I was in bed in Texas in my friend's house, recovering before I could head home, and like hopped up on all sorts of drugs, but I didn't have anything else to do because I couldn't move around, and so I was on Discord, and I ended up like going hardcore into the server. And I think I've mentioned it before that there are changes that were made to the Discord server because of me. And it was this time period because I went in and that's all I had to do. So I was like doing all this role play with people in the server and we were just in the general chat and it was just kind of like a big group role play thing going on. And then I also had like 10 chats, 10 DMs on the side where I was doing individual role plays and like it was great for the time and I feel really bad because like once the healing happened and I got back to life, I didn't have as much time for it and so I wasn't able to like keep up on it with everyone. But it's very much what brought me into this server and kind of like made this server a home for me is because there were so many people that we just connected really well and like there was the role play and a lot of it was erotic, but it also turned into just kind of like regular role play stuff too. And so it was a lot of fun. And I still have people from the server that I role play with when I have the time, which frustratingly I don't have as much time as I used to, and that is hard because it's honestly for me like as much as I like doing a lot of kink and sexual stuff, it's the biggest turn-ons for me is mental stuff. And so the erotic role play is great because it's all mental, plus I get to live out like fantasies that you just genuinely can't in real life.
Yeah. Like owning a home.
Yeah.
I can't speak on that part.
Fair. What about you? What you do?
Oh, my history of role playing and erotic
Yeah.
roleplay.
Yup.
Pretty much, I started way too young. I want to say like 12, 13.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
You can't even have an email till 13.
It's called lying, Minka.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm not. Continue.
Minka, are you telling me you waited till you were 18 to hit the yes, I'm 18 button on like Pornhub and stuff?
I was probably
Accurate because Mormon.
16 or 17. And yes, absolutely because Mormon. Because I was
I like my answer
a
better.
sheltered Mormon child. And it was only around that time that I finally realized what all of that stuff was.
We've been down that rabbit hole before though.
Yep.
We have.
That's a different episode that you can go listen to now.
But yeah, I started at like 12 or 13 on MySpace of all places.
Christ.
That was interesting. I don't know if I was role playing with people my age or not, because everybody had an alt account with a made up name that nobody had ever heard of, and using pictures of girls that everybody stole from on the internet. Started out terrible, didn't know what the hell I was saying, and then slowly people just started liking me too much, and I just kind of got tired of it and would leave and join back in every like 2 or 3 years. So I'm pretty good at typing and junk, so people enjoyed it.
God, I hate that I'm a little bit of both of you. I fucking hate that. I hate that a lot.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I've brought this up before, but it just made me remember again that like one of the first places that I would do it was on Furcadia, which I think is still a thing you can download. You can create your characters and create little rooms and worlds and stuff. But that was one of the first places that I really went and started doing role play. And what makes absolute sense to me now is like, because that there was Furcadia and then IMVU I did a little bit on as well, which also
Hmm.
still exists.
Oh man, I
Yeah,
tried that and I did not like it at all.
yeah. But like, what was interesting at the time is like I would always do the role play as like the girl, as the woman, and back then, I didn't fully realize my full identity as being trans, but I knew there was like a lot of feelings there and stuff. And so looking back, it's just like, oh yeah, no, that makes 100% sense because that's actually who I was, and I was getting to be myself before I even realized it. And so that's actually really kind of cool to look back on and see like how great that role play was for me.
It helped. I, I know what I want to say. I don't know how to say it. Beneficial for transness.
Yeah, yeah, like it helped me explore my identity when I wasn't able to do that necessarily like in real life.
Man, at least one of us got a happy ending.
Hey, I love online roleplay.
I guess it's time to out myself. Even though I already said that I know a bunch of words, just can't fucking type them.
All right, let's
Autocorrect
hear it.
is
Um,
your savior.
autocorrect isn't a thing on autocorrect wasn't as intense as it was 7 years ago, 6 years ago, less than a decade, more than 5 years. Pick a number, have fun. Um, so me being me listening to the person that messaged the Facebook page, I made an F list account, which man, that website is not great.
I don't honestly know that I've heard of it.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's still around. Um, it's mostly okay. So there is a civil war happening on F list at any given moment between humans and furries. I'm like,
Humans and
yo, I'm not
furries.
here for that. I came to talk to this person because they were like, you can talk to me here, and I'm like, I got time to kill. Men are not this. They are as despised on the internet as they are in real life. Learned that the hard way. That wasn't fun. Unless you're black or Asian, then you're heavily fetishized, which is how it is in real life sometimes. So I got the real life experience just on the internet, and it sucked.
Yeah, isn't it great being a porn category?
Sometimes, God, if you want like a little self confidence boost, then yeah, it's fucking great.
But when you want to have people online in sexual forums treat you like a human, it's not always great.
So, me having negative self confidence and self worth was like, what if I try being a lady? Everyone likes a lady. No one dislikes women on the internet. Take that with a grain of salt.
Right.
But they had other categories as well as other and hermaphrodite and shemale, and I'm like, fuck it, I want the full experience. Man, I've never seen like open transphobia until you see it in words in front of your face. And I'm like, damn, I'm not even one of those, and I feel bad.
That sounds really horrible.
Yeah, it does,
No,
doesn't
I
it?
meant like you should feel bad either way, but I get what you mean at the same time.
Well, no, I've never witnessed it firsthand until it was literally characters forming words on my screen. I'm like, damn, this is just on the computer. It's gotta suck in real life. I'm like, ooh, now they know what it's like to be black, but not really. This is what discrimination. This is what discrimination feels like.
And
but
that
like to my face directly. I'm like, damn,
and that was before the Republicans painted a target on our backs.
pretty much. And I'm like, wow, why are people like this?
6 or 7 years ago.
It was.
We're
Uh,
not bringing politics. We are not bringing
It
politics. I
was.
will end this fucking episode. I
It,
swear
it
to
was
God.
before
well, I was
it
trying to think of
really
when the
started.
SJW anti-SJW arc kicked off on the internet. I don't say that was 2016ish.
Honestly, I, I don't know how I want to say it without just sounding wrong, but like,
Minka, give him the "it's okay" trans card.
Well, we'll see what he says.
Okay.
I was gonna say, can I have like a temporary one?
I was like, chances are, I'm like, it's probably not gonna. I'm sure you're not gonna piss me off, but like, I want to hear what you say, and then I can give you feedback.
Then she'll be like, "All right, cut
Uh,
that. don't put it out." Oh,
Playing or role playing as hermaphrodite or shemale was way more fun because you got to do both things and everyone just likes you except for the people that don't. And the people that don't like you, they really don't fucking like you. I'm like, huh. Well, I like being liked, but I don't like being liked not being me? Question mark? Having boobs and a dick must be really fucking fun. Minus, all the other issues. Just physically having a boobs
A
and a
boob.
dick, it must be fun.
A boobs.
Yes, a boobs.
One boob.
Yes. No, a boobs. A boobs with the plural.
Um.
I'm
There are
saying that must
girls
be
with uniboob.
fun.
So okay. So my comments to that would be just in regard, and I understand that this was just probably how it was labeled, but she-male is a term that most
Yeah.
trans folk don't like. There are some trans women that do use that. I know it was kind of big in Thailand for a while, but yeah, generally that's not an acceptable term for a trans woman. So don't go around. If you're listening to this, don't go around calling trans women she-males. Like if they
Don't do
So
it.
bring that
that's
up
why I get slapped
themselves.
all the time.
Correct.
Joke. I don't do it, Minka.
I know that's I know.
Yeah, so just don't use that term. But no, I get what you're saying. Like the reality is I think that's part of why I like Fuda so much is because like I got the bottom surgery and it was because I wanted my vagina, but like that reality of having like
Both.
for me it would be like having the female body and then also being able to have a dick like wouldn't be the worst thing as long as I still had my vagina and my boobs and everything. But Fuda is at least that type of Fuda is not realistic. Nobody
Yeah.
really has functioning both parts. Some people
We're
do
not
have
gonna
both
get
parts, but
We're not gonna
we're
go
not
into
gonna
the
make
medical
this a
deep
Funta
dive.
episode. No, we're just not gonna go into. We're not gonna have another Funta episode. We'll do it later.
I love how that's
No,
a
it was-
problem for us.
but
Listen, this is about roleplay, not Funtanari.
well, and
We'll have an episode about it later.
like, and the truth is too, a lot of those people that were talking shit on you or like and talking shit at you and saying all that stuff are people who probably either have feelings that they might be trans and so are attacking other people, much like it was seen and is seen a lot with like people who are gay and stuff. You'll see a lot of people who are
Yeah.
so aggressively against it and then later come out. Or, they hate that they're turned on by it and so they try to take it out on the people who are trans instead of like just being able to accept that they're turned on by it because it's against their religion or against their beliefs or something. Like it's really that's what's
Just keep it
stupid
a
about
secret, man.
hatred. Yeah, that's what's stupid about hatred is it's pretty much always just something about that person themselves that they're just pushing onto other people.
Yeah. Also, people have unrealistic expectations of other motherfuckers that can type.
Oh, if you don't answer
don't-
fast enough, some people like kill you. Practically.
Yeah. I'm just like, bruh, I'm watching a show and playing a game. And then sometimes it'd be like, all right, I'm going to just focus on typing. You didn't type enough. I'm like, what more do you need? I'm not trying to write a book. If you want to write a book, go write a book. That is the one thing I could never ask, because every time I would ask a person who was like, "Yeah, I want 10 to 15 lines," I was like, "I need you to explain why. That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I could do in the 10 minutes that it's gonna take you to write them 3 paragraphs? I could go make me a sandwich. I could turn on the computer. I could drive around the block. I could make the taco nachos. Nachos. Like, bruh.
Anytime I ever saw somebody with like any of those stipulations, it's like, that's good for you that you know what you want, and maybe it's because like, yeah, when you're doing this, you're like, no, I want it to be back and forth because like I'm using it to get off right then or whatever. But like I usually steer clear of those people, or the ones that are like, you have to type this many lines. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not. That's too much stress for me. Like I don't want to sit here and think, oh, well, I only have these few things to say in this certain circumstance that we're role playing, but you expect this much more, and if I don't give it, you're going to be mad. It's like, no, that takes me out of it. Like that's not fun for me.
Yeah.
So anybody who has those stipulations of like either you need to answer right away or you have to write this many sentences and stuff, like I don't role play with them. Because personally, with the way my life works, and especially with ADHD and stuff, I don't generally have that. And like, depending on my mood too, is going to affect how involved I am. So I really like to be able to have the long role plays where it's like you just get back to each other as you can. And I think for me, that's great because then it's like, oh, you keep getting turned on randomly throughout like the day and the week and stuff. I think that's great.
Okay, so we have very opposite approaches. If I'm gonna role play, I'm gonna be sitting at my computer. Well, now, because back then it'd be I'm doing I do it, but now I'm like I want to sit down and have a session. Like I want to have it's for me. It's like tennis. I want to have a good rally. One of us is gonna fuck up, and the other person's gonna go, "All right, good game." Because like the longest session I've had with a person was like 4 hours, which will bleed into my next point, which is mostly just me. Because I feel like how you do it now is way better. It's you probably do it for like 30 minutes a session throughout like a week. Where I'm like, okay, I want one long session because this is probably what's going to help me go from after work to going to sleep. So tomorrow we can try again or do something else.
Yeah, yeah, and that like I can see that though too. And like if I ever have the time and the energy and stuff, like I will sit there and just focus on it and like just keep going back and forth. But the reality is we all have lives and like we can't always dedicate that amount of time. So for me, it's just
Yeah.
like I will do it when I can, and then if there's opportunities to sit there and really just go back and forth and get into it for a while, I absolutely will. But I also am not afraid to have it broken up among multiple sessions and just like that's some of the best role plays I've had are these ones that I've had going for like months, and it's just like it's some people don't want this. Some people just want the quick like this is one session and it's just like a we're doing this role play and then it's over. But like I've got a few people that I basically have like world building with, and we still have like all this great erotic stuff happening, but we've also got this whole world we've built. And I think that's really cool because it helps me get more into it and like again mentally more involved with it and more attached to it. But I
I
know
feel
that
that.
yeah, not everybody likes that. Some people are just like, nope, we're gonna do this thing where I'm tied up because I'm whatever, I'm a sinner and you're a nurse and you're gonna come do it and we're gonna do that scene and then like we're never gonna touch that role play again or whatever. And neither one is better than the other.
Like one shots are cool, but I like a little more episodic. But that's just me. Pius, you've been real fucking quiet. You say something.
Well, I was curious if you guys had to have like when you guys try to RP with somebody, and like their first message is like 6 paragraphs from beginning to end of like what happens, and you're like, I don't even know how to respond because you just wrote the event. I don't have anything to do.
Those people just make me laugh. I'm like, are we allowed to do any type of diversion? No. All right. Well, it seems like you know what you're doing. You go ahead and have
Oh, I'm
fun.
not even
I'm
talking
gonna.
game plan. Those people are different. I'm talking
You,
like they just immediately jump into action, go through all the actions, and even your own actions, and then finish. And you're like,
What was the
am I
point?
supposed to respond?
Am I just here to get the cum on my face at the end and then you're done? Like what? I've I haven't had anybody be that extreme, but I have
That
had
might
some
be
people that
dialing it up to 11, but
I
No, no, it's not.
I have had some people that I've role played with though, where all of a sudden they are like, "Oh, I do this," and then you are doing this, and it's just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I don't think I'm needed here anymore. Have fun."
yeah, Minka, you got in between them and their hand, so get out of there.
Yeah,
I
because
think those people just want like the acknowledgement that what they wrote was not necessarily good but comparable so that they can use it on someone else.
Somebody who
maybe.
I feel
thinks
like you're
they're a
just a
Mr.
stepping
M,
stone at
but
that
not
point.
really.
Well, and there, I mean, the reality is being able to role play is a skill. Um, and some people are better at it than others, and I've role played with a lot of different people, so I've seen a lot of different skill levels, and like I'm able to adapt to people's skill levels, and usually will kind of like give back what I'm given to an extent. Like I'm not gonna, if I have somebody who's kind of writing my actions, I'll usually just still kind of like go along with it if I'm having a good time. Like I'm not going to role play with somebody if I'm not having a good time, but like if they're like, "Oh, and then you
Yeah.
did this," I'll kind of be like, "Okay, well then I'll go from that point," and just cuz obviously this is what's getting them off, like obviously they've typed it because that's what's turning them on. And so for me, a lot of times it's just like, "Oh, I'm just having fun role playing." And like I'm turned on and having fun. I'm not looking for like a release at the end. So like I can tell that that might be what they're going for, and so this is how they're going to do it, and so I'll just kind of like just go along with it and adapt and stuff. But it's the ones where um, it is more involved and more like back and forth, and like each person's doing their own thing and reacting to the other person and stuff like are usually the most fun.
I, I'll agree with you on that. For like a first timer literally just walking in going, I don't know what to do here, I feel like that first impression is so important because
Oh,
that's either going to make them keep coming back to like role playing in general, or it's going to just kill it from the get go.
yeah.
Oh, speaking of first time experiences, before I started role playing, I typed U with just the letter U. And because of role playing, ever since then, I've only typed U as the full word.
I mean, it is
Yeah,
like
I would get on you about that. No, you are a grown ass adult. Well, when you become a grown ass adult, we use the full word here. So yeah, good.
See, and like for me, that's another one of those things too, where it's like I'm not gonna like necessarily change to doing my typing like that if somebody's using it, but like as long as they're getting their point across, I'm usually okay with it. But I mean, I do still absolutely agree with your point about the first impression. It's like if it's one of those people where like they're doing it themselves or whatever, it's not somebody that I'm necessarily going to go back to or
Yeah,
like look out role play with. So it's like I'll try to finish with them and whatever, but yeah, those aren't the people that like get me really excited. But no,
I feel like there should be a group of people that are literally they're not job because they're not gonna get paid. Well, some people get paid, but that's a whole other can of worms. Like you're just here to guide people where they need to go, not necessarily to see if they enjoy it, just to see if it's something that's worth their time. Because for me, I stopped not because of any person or people. It just I felt like I was wasting so much of my time at night when I could be doing other things.
it can definitely take over.
Yeah, like it is when you get the right people you play with, it becomes mildly addicting.
Hmm.
Which, if you have an addictive personality, don't don't do it. Do as I say, not as I do.
There were
Go back to playing a gotcha game or some shit. But no.
there were times that like I was getting so into it that I was basically like going to my jobs at the time and not actually like working, just constantly going back to the phone to see the
Yep.
next text and stuff. So yeah, it is one of those things that can become very very addicting because it's like we all have, not all of us, but most of us have a carnal desire to for being turned on and all that stuff. So when you're getting that filled, like it's easy to just want to have that feeling all the time.
It does make me wonder because when I was 12 and 13, role playing with people, and they got mad at me because I didn't respond for like 8 hours because I was in class. Why they got mad? Because how did they not have a job?
I'm gonna let you in a little secret. Like 50% of role players don't have jobs. That or they take they do it on their phone and just take their phones with them.
Yeah, but this was almost 15 years ago now. I don't know if phones could do that.
Um,
15, 20,
I
18,
want to say
2008. Yeah, yeah,
yes.
We're talking late 2000s, Minka.
yeah, 2008ish. Like I had
Smartphones should, yeah, they should have just been able to get that technology.
I I had my phone where I was texting and stuff in 2003.
Okay.
I think I got my first smartphone when I was in middle school.
Yeah, I was in ninth grade, which in
Fuck,
Utah
actually,
is
yeah.
we do it different. We don't have middle school. Our junior high is seventh, eighth, and ninth.
That's weird.
Mm-hmm.
That's how the rest of the world does it.
I don't like that.
Oh, oh no, Minka, you're showing your age because
Mm-hmm.
that's how everyone does it. Well, everyone does 6th, 7th, 8th now. Before a certain year, it middle school was 7th, 8th, ninth. So you're showing your age there.
Oh, let's see.
Oh my god, I'm just connecting the dots on why Jujutsu Kaisen has first, second, and third years, and I never hear about fourth
Oh
years.
my fucking god! Every anime is like that.
I never connected
I
those
want to
dots.
hurt you. Okay, I got my first smartphone in 2012. What is this company doing?
How do you
Is this
know
company
what?
even still around? Because I remember the model.
Uh,
It was an HTC Aria. I got it because the model of the phone was the same name as my favorite anime. So I was like, easy. So for like characters, were y'all doing OCs or were you just taking canon characters and making them do what you want?
uh,
Um,
I'll let you go first, Minka.
Generally, I do OCs, but there are times where I will do specific characters, and that's usually based on like somebody else's request. They're like, "Oh, I wanted to play out this scene with, I've always wanted to fuck this character or whatever," and so it'll be like, "Okay." So sometimes, if I know the character, it's like, "Okay, yeah, I'll do my best." Other times, it's like, "Okay, well, I can do that, but I either need you to give me some information on about like what the character's like, or I need to go and look up myself."
Yeah.
But I generally do it with OC because for me, it's just easier then because you're just basically role playing as yourself in a fantasy situation.
Hmm.
Like not necessarily like just who you are as a human, but like different identities that you have through these OCs.
No, that's fair. I just, whenever I would do it, I would just go, all right, I'm just going to try to be a completely different person. I'm like, this is hard. How do people who play D&D do this? I'm like, oh, they don't. They just be themselves, but more unhinged.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
so
it's actually kind of interesting. Like I've talked to a lot of people that play D&D and like noticed it myself that a lot of my characters do tend to have a lot of my own personality traits. Um, and so like there are times that it's fun to do a challenge and be like, oh, I'm gonna play this character who's like way out of who I am and or what I would normally do. And so like it's sometimes fun to try to play those because then it's basically like acting. You're being somebody
Yeah.
else. But yeah, it does seem to be a lot of D&D characters are representative of the players at least in some way, which makes sense.
Okay. I have found a easy solution to that. So for your canon characters or your canon playing a character from a canon series, you can just be an NPC.
Okay.
Officer Ginny, Nurse Joy, fucking random Pokemon trainers. I'm like, oh, these are just NPCs. You can insert any personality you want into them because they don't really have any, at least in the games.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, the Nurse
Like,
Jenny and
oh,
Officer.
Nurse
Yep,
Joy
I
and
got those
Officer
backwards.
Ginny. You got those
Have you
real
never heard
backwards.
Brock's song?
Nope.
Oh my god.
But
Don't.
you never ran into the people who like want them to be played a very specific personality.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nah.
well, Puce, you were going to say something about it. What did you have to say about it?
So back then, small community of like I want to say like 20 to 30 people had their very own specific OCs, but also there was like an offshoot at that time of like just a community of people who would play these two very specific women who I'm guessing 99% of their personalities were completely made up, but were based on real people. And like
Oh.
it was very weird, and I'm not gonna lie,
Mm.
would play those characters if somebody really wanted me to, but it was very weird and bizarre a lot of the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, playing a real person is.
I'm not even talking celebrity or micro celebrity. I'm talking two very random girls who were very busty that people were obsessed with.
Hmm. Yeah, that's. I don't.
Face claims are nothing new. They're just when you see a person you recognize, you're like, oh, this is weird now.
Yeah, I don't know if I would do like role play as another like specific human.
Yeah. Because mostly what I dealt with were OCs and anime characters.
Like so yeah, like if it was like a specific human, like for me it would be a little weird. But like if somebody's like, "Oh, hey, like can you play, this character that is like a she's like a CEO and has this type of stuff." If it's kind of just a like type of human basically, like or a human with certain properties and like certain jobs and stuff, like I'd be willing to do that because that's still, fantasy to an extent because you're making up a character. So, but yeah, like to actually try to cosplay another human being that exists is an interesting thing that I don't know if I would be able to do that.
I
I
was
couldn't.
12 or 13, so I was willing to do anything.
Well,
And also
sure,
didn't see
yeah.
the problematic.
Anything for
And
attention.
I also didn't see the problem at doing that.
You were feeling
Obviously, I've
good.
grown to realize that's wrong. But at the time, I was like, oh, it's no big deal. It's not like the internet's a place that matters.
It made your people
And
happy.
now look at you. In a similar vein, like when I went back to do the research, there's a lot of people being VTubers, and it's
Oh, yeah.
weird.
Yeah, I can see that
Being,
being a
oh,
big thing
actually role
now.
playing VTubers. Okay.
It's marginally uncomfortable,
Yeah, a lot of people out
but
there. Oh, I want to fuck Iron Mouse. I want to fuck Fawn. I want to fuck. I'm sure there's a lot that want to fuck Gura.
we're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
Man,
I
that
heard.
crosses into a territory that is like halfway realistic, but also not real. And that
Yeah.
kind of hurts to think about.
Well, I approached one of these individuals and was like,
That want to be
"Explain
fucked as
yourself."
them or want to fuck them.
Want to fuck
Both.
them a lot of times, but yeah.
I was just like, "Explain yourself." And the one person, the very nice individual, because I don't know who the fuck is behind the other computer screen, basically broke it down as without saying who the character was, but giving very explicit hints. So,
You could just use they them
professionalism.
pronouns.
No, that's no. Oh yeah, you're right. Certain horny ass corporate VTuber with two colored eyes, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Everyone knows this person is like aggressively horny, but can't act on most of it because corporate VTuber. So they're
Hmm.
like, well, I just want to be them without the corporate influence. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then I saw their kinks list and went, you taking it way too far.
Well,
Homie, I need you to dial it back. Now I'm
Puce,
uncomfortable.
Puce, I actually do agree with you. Like, it's something that like is making me think more because
VTubers, well, at least
that's
especially when they first started, were uh, fake personalities.
right.
Totally different story nowadays.
But
But at
there's
that
real
point, they were
people
voiced by
behind
a real
them.
person, acting as somebody else.
Yeah, because
So
it's not just like, oh, this is my job. I'm doing voice acting for this character on a show. It's no, this is like my entire career is being this character online, and like having other people going around and creating content basically that is either being them doing stuff or doing stuff to them could potentially put their career at risk.
Um,
I would hope that
yes
corporations
and
would be
no.
smart enough to be like, no, this is obviously not you.
Well, yeah,
But
there's no way
if
to.
an image
There's
becomes tainted through whatever reasons, that can be enough to kill somebody's livelihood.
no. I've seen every member of Hololive, V Shoujo, and a few indies doing some
Oh, they get horny. They get horny for sure.
oh no, I know I've seen fan art and I'm like, hey, love the art style, love the colors, composition, everything else, bro. What the fuck? What's wrong with you? Why you do this?
And I guess to be fair, in America we had a president who was a sex offender, so I guess it doesn't really ruin your career that much.
No, it doesn't. But like, I know for V Shoujo, V Shoujo doesn't really give a fuck. Any any publicity is good. That other word I can't fucking say. All right, if I know what I can't say. But Hololive is like, we have guidelines and stuff you can and can't post. If it's something way out there, it has to be either under a paywall or like not visible. You have to go digging for it. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I get that. Don't want the little children seeing. Sure, we'll go with Gura getting her back blown out. Yeah, don't, can't have that.
Yeah, but like no, you're like a lot of them are still quite horny, um, themselves
Yeah,
online and stuff.
fucking Kiara, Jesus Christ. Fuck, man, no, fucking the new generation of Hololive English, and I'm like, oh, I know who this is. I know who you are. Why are you so damn horny? Hold on, calm down. What's going on here?
But anyway, yeah. So erotic roleplay.
so
Having good references is also super important.
yeah, that can be important. Sometimes.
No,
I
I don't want to use my brain to figure out what you look like. I want to know what you look like before jumping in.
Oh,
Yes, that
okay.
sounds super shitty and a little vain, but like,
See, I'm
I don't
total
care
opposite.
how
I
pretty
don't
you
care
are. I just know
your,
what you
about your
look like.
picture.
I thought you were talking about like work references, like being able to be like, oh,
No.
here's three people that will let you know how good I
Here's
am at
three people.
roleplaying.
Message them about how good I am at ERP, please.
No, I'm talking about the what the person look not what the person typing looks like, what their character looks like.
Yeah, I can understand that because like especially if it's a big mental thing for you, you want to be able to picture it.
I forget alt's on the like 1 out of 5 scale on that picture of an apple thing.
Oh
What?
yeah, there's.
If you
I
picture
saw
an
the
apple in
scale
your
just
brain,
earlier
what do you
today.
see? That's
And
One
an
is a
apple?
3D apple and five is nothing.
oh, I
Two
thought it was the
is
other way around.
no
I
five. The one I saw, five was nothing. So one would be like if I say picture an apple, what do you see? The scale
you want
is
to what kind of apple do you want? I need more
no,
details.
just
Picture a red
a red
delicious.
apple. Yeah, a red delicious apple. So number
Oh
one on the
fuck,
scale is picturing it in
those don't
3D as a 3D
Picture a Granny
object.
Smith. If you don't know
Are
what a
those the
Granny
ones that are
Smith is,
wait?
Granny
No,
Smith
are
is the
those the
green
ones that are
one.
perfectly round, or do they have the prongs at the bottom? I don't remember. I haven't eaten an apple in like 8 years.
Granny Smith doesn't really have prongs at the bottom. It might have a little stem
Okay,
on
so they're
top.
perfectly round. Okay.
Um, so one would be picturing it in 3D. Two would be picturing it with color but only 2D.
I was gonna say
3 would
detailed in
be
2D.
Yeah, 3 would be picturing it detailed but no color. 4 would be picturing it as basically just like a drawing, not very detailed, and 5 would be not picturing it at all because like you just don't picture things in your mind. Like images are not a thing for you.
Hmm.
Which even that scale is kind of messed up because like, how do you describe what you see in your head? Because if I describe what I see in my head, I could just be like what I feel like an apple looks like at all times without the picture.
So it's not perfectly round. It's a little elliptically shaped. It's got the super skinny stem. It's green. It's got some of the brown speckles.
Can
Okay,
you
are you seeing
rotate
it
it
in
in your
2D or
mind and see the
3D?
different sides?
Yes. Well, because it's not a perfect circle, yeah. If it's a perfect circle, it doesn't matter.
Like you can kind of view it and view it from different angles and it actually has depth. It's not just like 2D at different angles.
I know what you're saying, but yes, but no.
Um, Question, do you know
I
if
need
you're
something more complex than an apple. Like,
All
I
right.
know what all my figures look like.
Okay.
I can picture those.
Picture Hatsune Miku.
And so you're not just picturing like an image of it, you're actually seeing it in like a 3D space.
Uh, Damn, why would you pick Miku? I have a Miku figure literally behind me. And I'm like, uh, which Miku?
Question, do you know if you're dyslexic?
I am dyslexic.
Then you are most likely picturing it in a 3D space.
Like, I have to think about it, but like default, it's an image.
Minka mostly says that because a lot of dyslexic people who take this test are able to see images in the 3D space when they picture it in their mind.
Well, that's one of the things that they've kind of started to discover with neurodivergency is that dyslexia, which is a type of neurodivergence, those people generally are able to picture things in a 3D space. So they're really good at like if they have the skills and everything, like being able
But I
to do
can't
art
draw.
and stuff. Have you ever tried working with like clay or anything? Like sculpting things?
No,
Have you ever tried knitting?
no one wanted to teach me. I was a boy, and they were like, "That's not what boys do," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Hey Minka, we're forgetting the one thing he actually does. He edits this podcast.
He does, but
That has nothing to do with 2D or
yeah,
3D.
It's
I
slightly
don't.
artistic though.
I mean, it's artistic, but like
Is
that's
it?
it's
It's
not. I
autistic for
wouldn't say
sure.
it's never. I wouldn't. Jesus. I wouldn't say that's.
I'm keeping that in.
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily super relevant to a 2D or 3D image in your head.
Oh, that's what you were going for. I thought you were just going the art route.
No. But yeah,
I can't bring this back because I'm out of points to talk about. We did OC versus canon. We talked about the fucking lines and grammar bullshit.
Oh,
Talk about
I've
how
got two
it can be
topics I can bring
addictive.
up.
All right, go for it.
All right, first, well, this one should be pretty fast. What do you think the like actual like people behind the screen? What do you think the gender slash sex whatever preferred pronouns are of most people behind the screen?
It's mostly dudes unless they're describing the vagina super well, and I'm like, that's probably a girl then.
I because I've like generally done my role play with people that I've interacted with a little bit. I generally know, and there's women that like to do the role play that I've run into, and female identifying people have tended to be the more detailed, in-depth role players. But I have also run into men who are really good at it. So it's for me like I
How
usually
dare
know
you
going
have a good
in to it or
vocabulary?
not. So it's like I've had plenty of people that were uh, identified as female and plenty of people that do identify as male. And I'm sure I've had moments where I've been with people who were role playing an opposite part, and sometimes I've had people that have wanted to do that and like been open about it. But I do think that like if you were to just go to a role play server, there's a pretty good chance that you are going to get someone who identifies as male. But whether they're presenting that way online or not is a completely surprise on what you'll run into.
Yeah, my default is that's just the dude. That internet culture has ruined me. Like there are no women online. Ugh, scoff at the idea, and I'm like, no, they're there. They get the horny too, but like they're tasteful about it. Sometimes when they're not, those are the ones you gotta watch out for. The ones that are not tasteful about the horny.
Yeah, there are plenty of us women out there that are horny and crazy. So
But like, this is gonna sound bad. Like I don't know how to say it. I can find if you give me some time, I can think of a better way to say it. But like, that's such a commodity. Like you've got the girliness and you're a horny degenerate. Sign me the fuck up.
well, but that's the thing is like it is far more common than most men like to admit. It's just that a lot of women are guarded because of how a lot of men are. Like we have to be guarded
Yeah.
for our safety, and so it's like a lot of times you just won't see that from the women because they're not necessarily able to feel comfortable enough to be open about it.
Yeah, which sucks because everyone should be openly horny to a reasonable degree.
Yeah, everyone, I agree. Like everyone who wants to be horny should be able to be horny
To a degree.
to a degree. I mean, like as long as you're not crossing consent lines or anything like that, or obviously time and place. But
Yeah.
Oh, my last question then. So you can get to wrapping it up. Are you guys still in contact with anybody?
yeah,
What was that? You like sighed and that was it.
That was a sigh.
I thought you'd like cut off and like just like
No,
your computer died.
that
or
was just
something.
a big sigh. Long answer, no. Short answer, no for good reasons.
okay, fair enough.
I have one person from actually when I was like 12 or 13 who I've still like could probably message today and get chatty with and just talk about our days with. Everybody else
Be like, hey, I'm not a child anymore.
Oh
You're
no,
not
I'm pretty
committing
sure
a crime.
out of everybody I talked to, I think they're the only one who may have been around my age. Because I think they're within a few years of me.
That makes things so much better, but not better.
I have two people that I have made Discord servers with where like it's just us. And so we basically have different channels where we can have different role plays going on depending on like what mood we're in and stuff. But that way we can always just jump back to whatever one we're in the mood for. So yeah, definitely built a online relationship with some of the people.
I have an alt account for a reason, and I'm about to burn that bitch, so yeah.
I feel that.
I do have something for last call. I don't know if you want to call it before then. I just have another thought, but we're getting near that point.
Oh yeah, because someone has to go to work because they woke up late.
Well, it doesn't change when their work starts.
All right, well, this is
you
last
were not.
call.
You weren't planning on dragging this on for another half hour. We both know it.
I 100%
You were running out of
could
topics.
if I needed to.
You ran
I
out of
could make-
topics.
I could make bullshit up. It's what I do. It's literally how I got my job.
All right.
But this is last call, the segment in which we have our final thoughts, comments, or concerns, or questions. Questions are important too. About the topic at hand. Minka, you said you had something for last call.
Yeah. Basically, I just want to put out there that like everyone who wants to should be able to role play. And, a lot of times people get in their heads that they're not going to be good at it, or that people are going to be upset because maybe they're not doing it right or whatever. There is not technically a doing it right and doing it wrong. You just need to find the right people to role play with. Like, if you're someone who you aren't super good at writing out like longer things, make sure you find somebody who's not like, oh, I need you to write like 3 paragraphs per response. If you aren't able to reply right away, make sure you're not finding someone who's like, I need a reply within 5 minutes. Stuff like that. Like, find someone who is willing to role play with you, and be honest. Like, if it's new for you, let them know that it's new for you. And if they're like, oh no thanks, I don't want to role play with somebody who's new, don't take offense to it. Like, no is a completely valid and acceptable response to give, and it also is something that you have to be okay with receiving, and don't take it personally. So if you have been wanting to do it but haven't done it because you're scared, just go out there and be honest about your experience. And you can even be honest that like you're a little scared to do it, because chances are there's going to be somebody else who might be in the same position as you, or who is willing to work with someone who hasn't done it before, who will do it with you. Like, don't keep yourself away from it if it's something you want to try just because you're worried that you'll be judged. And if somebody does judge you, like, fuck them, move on. And I understand that, that can still come with taking it personal and having that pain. So you just have to do your best to not let it affect you too much and just go try somebody else. But I know for me, someone who enjoys doing it, it's a lot of fun. It's one of my absolute favorite like ways to be sexual with someone. So just don't keep yourself from it just because you're too scared to do it.
Okay, side note, uh, in association with what Minka said, do it because it will teach you how to take rejection. If you have to take rejection, if you still take rejection personally after that, you are the problem, not everyone else. That means you have to work on yourself and be okay with rejection. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important to be able to stand up for yourself and say no if somebody asks something that you don't want to do, and not feel pushed into or obligated to or anything to say yes, or feel guilty for saying yes, or for saying no. Like, it's important to be able to say no for yourself, but it's just as important to be able to receive no as an answer, and to respect that and not take it personally or get angry or anything.
Yeah, take it from us. We have to ask people to come on the show. If they say no, we move on.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what you got, Pius?
That was my final thoughts. But I agree with you guys. RP is for everybody. Uh, Nobody should be shunned, and definitely probably the best way to build up tolerance to being rejected, I guess. If
I mean, I'm just saying what's worked for me so far.
I know,
So.
I'm just saying, like, I'm sure there are people who even that might be too hard, but at that point, I don't even know what might be a softer reject to handle.
And if you're not sure where to find a place to role play, honestly, pretty much any furry community is going to have a ton of people that want to role play. Most
Okay.
furries love doing that.
Okay. Okay, I thought that was gonna go somewhere else. I'm gonna be choose your next words carefully.
No, no, no. I don't like when people get judgmental of furries.
No, I thought you were. I thought that was going to go somewhere else entirely.
Oh,
I thought you were going to mention something else to go for
oh.
roleplay.
If you're looking for role
Thought you were
play, go Yilf.
that. No,
I know that's not what you were thinking either, but that's
no,
what it
I
just
thought
made
you
me
were going
think.
to say join a Discord server and be like, I don't recommend that.
Plug our Discord, but
Well,
No, because
that is
we
the
don't
thing
even
too.
we don't even really do it.
true.
We have some role play servers, but like honestly, yeah, they're not used very much. And so that is actually another big point. Respect the rules and everything of wherever you are. If they're like, don't just jump into somebody's DMs, don't do that. If they're like, don't do open role play in the server, don't do that. Like, if a lot of times they'll have a specific spot where you can look for partners and stuff. So also
Yeah.
be respectful of the server and their rules and the people that you're interacting with.
I don't know how to close the episode. So we're just gonna say, if you like what you heard, consider following us on every platform. Fucking words. Every podcast platform. I think besides it's fucking Sirius, because it's just Pandora now. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm floundering. Someone help me.
Find us
Leave
on
us.
Google Podcast, YouTube Music,
It,
whenever that might
you
merge.
it's now the merge is happening at the end of next year, but our episodes are already individual YouTube videos, so it doesn't really matter.
Well, I meant YouTube
If you
Music
search us,
specifically, because that shows up as a completely different catalog.
thing now, actually, I do think I'm gonna have my friend stress test that for me. That'd be fun. Totally won't be invasive at all. If you think this was cool, come back in 2 weeks. We should have something maybe. Like, comment, subscribe, because these are YouTube videos now, and we're gonna start retroactively saying that, so people do it. In theory. And if you're listening on Apple, leave a comment, because you can do that, and Puce will be read it in the next episode.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm gonna hold his dog ransom, and if he doesn't get his dog back, because that will affect him more than killing him. I don't know.
God damn. Yeah, no, any interaction, obviously, from a fully transparent perspective helps our stats
Our show grow.
and
Yes.
everything.
The algorithm.
But like we
Except
also
don't send us any more fucking emails. Don't do that.
Just people sending us emails.
People send an email about how they didn't like an episode. I'm like, which episode? You know what? I don't care.
interesting.
Don't think about it. Don't worry about it too much.
Yeah, I mean, no hate mail, please. If you don't like it, just go somewhere else. We're not forcing you to be here.
Hate listening to us. Give us the engagement.
Yeah, just like our podcast. I dare you.
All right.
Anyway.
With all that being said, bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.